Quick heads up, fantastic offer. Save yourself over $1,100, which is the equivalent of about £850. So the exchange rate will vary, but it's £850, but that equates to $1,126, something like that at the current exchange rate. So how does this work? It's the online 3-day on-demand photo reading video webinar class that I'm talking about here that you get as a free bonus when you book on the in-person photo reading workshop. So seriously, what can I say? An amazing offer. And what this means is that even after the live workshop has ended, it means you have a resource that you can continue to dip into to further hone and develop and expand and grow your photo reading skills. So the workshop in and of itself is amazing. I've been a photo reading instructor since March 2002, and people have done that 2.5 day weekend. Boom, that's it. Job done, skills in place, amazing. So it's already fantastic in its own right. And this just takes it up to a whole other level. So the way that it works, now the date hasn't been set yet. So when you go to that page, when you go to the booking page, you will not necessarily see the date there because the date is going to be decided next week with those people who have booked on. Actually, let me just see if I can... just going to do that. So let me just bring that up. There you go. So the date hasn't been set yet. So when you go to the Thrivecart link, which is going to be coming up any second now, there we go. So marilyn-devenish.thrivecart.com/photo reading workshop. When you land on that page, you'll see the countdown timer. So I think we've got 5 days left, something like that, 4.5 days. So you'll see the countdown timer. So that's when this offer, the buy one, get one free, ends. You will not see a date yet because what I'll do next week, once people have booked and taken up this initial offer, we'll decide the dates with that cohort of people. And then the dates go out to the public. The reason being, I want to make sure I choose a date that everyone can do. There's no point having you book and then go, oh, I can't make that date. So that's why you're not going to see any dates there. But yeah, it's a buy one, get one free. Now, the workshop that you're going to be getting is this one here. So this is feedback from the workshop that I ran, which was... It was online, had people join us from around the world, which is why it says a world first, because it was the first time photo reading had ever in its history, and photo reading was originated in 1985. So it was the first time it had ever been run as a live video webinar in that format. And 21 hours, that's 2.5 days. It's a long time to be online. Of course, we had a break and it spread over 2.5 days. But people by the end were absolutely buzzing, just like, wow, this is amazing, full of energy, which people wouldn't expect having spent that much time online. But this is accelerated learning. This is photo reading. It's dynamic, it's interactive. I always say it's the likes of which you've probably never seen before. And so they said inspiring, creative, intensive, engaging, brilliant. And that's the online on demand. So that's the one you get as a bonus. In terms of just a little kind of snippet in terms of what you might expect with regards to the photo reading. Let me just bring up a couple of these. Yeah, okay. So people often ask about, is it good for academics? Is it good for, serious subjects, heavy subjects, complicated subjects, etc.? This was a message that I got via Facebook Messenger a few years ago, completely out of the blue, hadn't spoken to them for years. And they said, I just wanted to let you know that I've changed paths. I'm practicing law thanks to photo reading. It gave me the confidence to read a lot of material in a short space of time and retain it. And they then said, those law exams are no joke. They are correct. Those law exams are no joke. So yes, it is good for detail. It is good for that sort of level of knowledge, if you wanted to put it in those terms. And then for those of you who go, well, actually, I'm not in that kind of academic space. I'm not changing career. I'm not taking on law or accountancy or marketing or anything like that. You may be an entrepreneur. Now, this was one of my wonderful photo reading attendees, Naomi Tamayama. Some of you know her from Mad Dog Designs. If you're ever looking for crystals, Naomi is the one for you. And this was a Facebook post that I happened to come across. I said, "Oh my God, Naomi, can I share that?" She's like, "Yeah, sure." So it says she's a mum, single mum, entrepreneur, and her son was quite young at this time. And she said, "I've spent less than an hour reading 8 books on a topic and have just compiled a piece of work from this. Hashtag game changer, hashtag real life skills." Because really, and Naomi just attended the 2.5 day in-person workshop. That was the end of it, and this was the outcome. Imagine how many of you have read PhotoRead. We're talking about photo reading here, the photo reading whole mind system. How many of you have photo read 8 books in 1 hour and completed a piece of work? Now, this was in the days before ChatGPT, and I had a very interesting conversation with ChatGPT, as we're on the subject, saying, does ChatGPT and AI mark the end for photo reading? And ChatGPT was like, absolutely not. And it said what I have kind of been thinking and sort of thing I've experienced as well. But it said, chat gpt, AI, all the rest of it, as great as it is, it has the potential for cognitive decline because it's not engaging the brain and the mind in the same way. So don't get me wrong, I think it's great. I've used it. I have chat gpt open on my desktop. I like it, and it's really useful, a lot of time saving. And go and ask chat gpt the same question, see what it says to you. But the dialogue, I did a whole video on exactly every single word it said, because it was absolutely fascinating. But it was definitely saying we need to be in a world where we're merging the two and using the two to avoid the cognitive decline and everything else that it had pointed out. So, you know, chat gpt aside, when did you last go through 8 books in an hour and compile a piece of work? I'm going to kind of guess that doesn't happen particularly often for most people, and it really is. And this is a bit of a compendium, just to give you a little bit of a snapshot of the cross section, for example. So we're going to start my top left, and we're going to work our way across. You've already seen the one from Naomi. So what I'm looking at now is the yellow square on my left, and this was from a teenage gamer. So the family came, they flew in from Europe, and the family, so 2 daughters, their son, and mum and dad came to the photo reading workshop. This was their son, who wasn't particularly pleased at being there. Teenagers, about 15, 16-year-old, was more interested in gaming than being in a room flipping through a book at 25,000 words per minute and photo reading in 5 minutes. So we had a little bit of chat and a reframe around that. This was his feedback. He said, this is more than just learning photo reading. It's a spiritual, mental massage. Amazing, no other words. So that was absolutely fantastic. Let me just have a quick look and just make sure that that is also doing what I think it should be doing. Yes, it is. So that was the teenage gamer. His sister, who is 11, said, Marilyn, you have helped me so much being a better person and feeling better about myself. And I always say, what an absolute gift, GIFT, to give to a young person starting out in life, starting out in their academic career, because it really is a fantastic confidence builder. And I knew that the very, very first time I did a one-to-one session with a teenager. He had just been kicked out of private school. He got into private school because his brother went there. So family connections, his brother was academically bright. The person I was working with had dyslexia and dyspraxia. So they were really struggling in the traditional school system. And so they were kicked out of the private school, had to go back to the local comprehensive. And so I did, an hour and a half or thereabouts with them at their house. And the rest is it's just magic. His mum called me the next day and said, oh my God, I've never heard him speak like that. He was explaining the photo reading whole mind system. He's explaining it to his sister. They're like ships in the night. They barely speak to each other. They just kind of grunt at each other as they pass. And then met her a few months later in Marks and Spencer's in Watford. And she said, oh my God, I've been meaning to call you. She said he got a B in his history exam because he's really struggling with history, name, dates, places, facts, figures, etc. So he got a B in his history exam. He got a Saturday job in what was W.H. Smith's. It's just had a name change after several, probably a good 100 years now. He spiked his hair and he's got a girlfriend. Now, I can't lay any claim to the spiking of hair, getting a girlfriend. However, the confidence that comes when you know you're not stupid, and it's just that you haven't found your rhythm, your flow, and your learning style, is enormous, and he's now married, he's got a baby. I'm still connected with his mum on Facebook, and I was like, oh my god, there's a little boy that I worked with and sat on the sofa, and he just looked absolutely petrified, which is just amazing. Now this is from an author who flew over from Ireland for this one. She was similar age to me. And she said, you have opened up so many possibilities for me and inspired me to expand my life and knowledge. I don't feel as old as I did when I came. Thank you. Because one of the things that happens, I know when people think about reading and learning and studying and books and the mind and the memory and the brain, it's not something that people think of as being particularly energizing. The very first step of photo reading is about getting yourself physically and mentally prepared. And what that does is it neurologically wakes up the mind, the body, the brain. It's just amazing. It's like a neurological reset. And that is why people have so much energy after we finish. That's why they feel inspired and excited about going back to books, even if the books are as dull as dishwater and it's not a subject they particularly like. People feel like, wow, oh my god, it's a whole other ball game. And then I'm going to come down to the bottom, what is my bottom left. And this one, I had a marketing executive come to the photo reading workshop, and I was like so excited because I'm like, oh my god, finally somebody in marketing speak can put into words the power of photo reading. Because even with these wonderful testimonials, people are still like, oh, not really sure it'll work for me, and not sure how to, it's like, oh my god, if you want to, it's not just, many people want to read faster, they want to learn more efficiently, but it's also about the creativity, the critical thinking, the decision making, harnessing your intuition. There is just so much to it. I would need probably a week to go through all of that stuff, but putting it into words and having people really grasp it and get it. They get it when they're there. And one of the things I hear most often is people like, oh my God, Marilyn, I wish I did the photo reading when you first told me about it. That's their biggest regret. And then sometimes people get a little bit snippy and a little bit angry with me. They're like, well, if I'd known it was this, I would have come years ago, because there's just so much more. I always say it goes way beyond reading. It is a powerhouse of personal and spiritual development. Again, you'll see when you come and do the workshop. So anyway, I got this marketing executive on the workshop. I'm excited. I'm like, yeah, we can finally put this into words. I'm going to read you the testimonial. So it says, I see your dilemma, how to get people to believe. So they said, I see your issue with marketing, how to get people to believe all the changes with something so seemingly simple as photo reading, a good dilemma. That was their answer. And I was like, hope that, it's like, oh, so even they were like, whoa, I see your dilemma, because it's so challenging to put all of this into words. So that's that. And for those of you actually who do have children, because it's, I've had attendees from age 7 to 70 plus away. So I think the oldest was a wing commander who was I think he was 91. But this was from a school where I taught photo reading in Queen's Park in London. So I'm just going to read you a bit of this. So saying, to whom it may concern, Queen's Park Community Schools at Brent's Full Service Extended School has worked closely with Marilyn Devonish at Transformations for over 3 years. We have partnered with Marilyn in offering creative and innovative teaching in order to raise the quality of teaching and learning. The 3 courses Marilyn has delivered have been to 2 cohorts of 25 Year 7 and Year 8 gifted and talented students, and to a smaller group of 6th formers as an enhancement of their PHSCE course. Photo reading uses NLP techniques which are stimulating and motivating to the students. She combines relaxation methods and a study skills approach to accelerate learning in an enjoyable manner. Marilyn is an excellent teacher who is able to motivate and stimulate her students. Her classes were very popular, and the fact that they were continually well attended speaks volumes for their efficacy. As someone who has spent a lot of time in the lessons, it was impressive to see a real joy of learning. Oh, this is really nice. A real joy. I haven't read it for a few years. A real joy of learning and discovery. So beautifully combined with a real sense of purpose and lots of fun. We continue to work with Marilyn and also tell others of the pioneering work I'm doing. I'm grateful for our extended services funding stream to allow us to fly a kite with this course, and would recommend it to others. Indeed, I recently hosted a learning visit by 16 other schools. They're a specialist school, so they were hosting a day, and to work with Marilyn, had no hesitation in asking Marilyn to do a workshop for them, and the evaluation gave her an 80% rating of excellent. So this was from a school where I worked, and we had one of the students who had failed. He got a U, an unclassified. Before we'd started with the photo reading modules, we did I think it was a series. It was either 6 or 8 mini modules. And 3 weeks later, he resat the mock and he got a B. And this was written by Barry Birch, the deputy head. And Barry says, what happened the first time round? And he said, I just did what Miss Marilyn said, which is just amazing, absolutely amazing. So yes, for those of you who are professionals, you might want to next level your skills in terms of your work and your career. It may be you're doing professional exams. You might be an entrepreneur. It is absolutely amazing for speaking and presenting. And this is one of the things that helped shift me away from relying on notes and, reading a bit of paper when I'm speaking and presenting, because you get yourself into what we call the flow state with that left and right integration of the brain. So you might be a speaker, you might be a coach, you might be a consultant, you might be a trainer, you may be a healer, a therapist, or you're in the academic track and you're an executive, you're a CEO, and to stay ahead and keep yourself ahead of the game, the world requires more of you. And I was watching something like, he's not everyone's cup of tea. If you don't like swearing, do not look him up. But I was watching something with Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, the other day, where he's on this, it is kind of a shopping channel thing, but he was streaming both to Instagram and this other channel. And one of the things I've heard him say several times, and it came up again because he was coaching the entrepreneurs who were dialing in. And he's always talking about soft skills training. And I know in my work, I've been a corporate trainer since 2003. So leadership development training, executive coaching, and all of that sort of stuff, facilitating away days. One of the first things to get cut when the economy dips, situation turns, all the rest of it, is a soft skills training. However, I also know that those are the very skills that help both the individual and the organization next level, because without those skills, everything else falls by the wayside. So even if we come back to Chat GPT and AI and all the rest of it, there is actually a lot to learn. The world is moving very fast. And when you have your wits about you and your brain is switched on and you know how to activate your brain, this, my friends, now is the game changer. So for those of you who are interested in the buy one, get one free, and one of the things I'm going to also say with regards to having access to the online on-demand training. Now, for those of you who are watching this in real time and you purchase, gosh, it's getting really dark in here. Just give me one sec, because I'm like, it's like, oh, turn the lights out. There we go. I was just aware, it's like I look like I'm sitting in the dark, which I was, because suddenly the nights are drawing in already. Well, it's September, I suppose. So for those of you who are booking before this offer closes at the end of this week, for those of you watching this in real time, you'll get lifetime access to the on-demand course. That's not always going to be the case. If I do the offer again or something like that, I probably give 12 months access, because I'm noticing in the world it's very unusual for people to give lifetime access to their courses. It's something I've always done, but hey, again, let's move with the times. So at the moment, you'll get lifetime access. So what it means is, once you've attended the workshop, if there's something you wanted to remind yourself of, if there's something you wanted to refresh, if there's somewhere where you wanted to delve deeper, hear it again in a different way. And the reason I say hear it again and learn it in a different way, the next time you come to, and I say to people, look, even just have it playing in the background by osmosis, because you are different to the person you were when you first walked in the photo reading door. You'll hear things that you will swear I never said before. And it's like, it's in the video. I haven't updated. It's there in the video. So you'll hear things you didn't hear first time round, because you're in a certain place when you came along. And particularly if you've never done photo reading before, people can allow themselves to enter. We'll do the access consciousness and the HUNA and the belief chains work to kind of get you out of your own head. But people start off in their own head. And they're so fixated on, oh my God, am I doing it right? Can I do it? Da, 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 until we kind of even all of that out. They're just not hearing on the same level. Whereas once you've been through the process, you've done the 5 steps, and the steps are really easy. Step 1, you get yourself physically and mentally prepared. That takes 30 to 90 seconds once you kind of really get into the swing of it, and you can do it in as little as 10 seconds. Step 2, your preview. That is just 90 seconds, a minute and a half to preview the book. Step 5, the photo reading step. That's where you're photo reading at 25,000 words per minute. So it basically looks like this. And you're turning the pages at the rate of 1 second per page. That's 5 minutes. So the time for that is set. You've got your post view. Now in the workshop, I give people about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It does probably say up to 5 or 8 minutes. The reason I don't give that long is people will expand to fill the space. So when you know you can pull what you want out of the book in 2 or 3 minutes, the question then becomes, why on earth are you spending 2 or 3 hours? Go and do something far more useful and far more enjoyable, quite frankly. And so there's that aspect of it. And then step 5, that's the one where it's more open. That's called the activation step. If you're a student, you're going to do more activation sessions than someone who is preparing to deliver a presentation and needs to get the notes in their head. And again, you can activate a book in 5 minutes and pull out information that you need. And that can be more than enough for you to go. Let's say you do live television, live radio, like I do. I'm not kidding you when oftentimes they want the information yesterday. And even when you do live TV, even when you know what the topic is, I've been doing live TV, live radio since 2004, 2005. I can tell you categorically that even when they send you notes, they send you questions, that is, I'm going to say 8.5 to 9 times out of 10, that's not going to happen. So you need to be on the ball and ready for whatever comes at you. Because when you are beaming live, it's live television, it's live radio, there's no do-over. So you doing the rabbit in the headlights, this is not, my friends, what you want. And photo reading with that wonderful, oh, here it is, with that wonderful left and right brain integration, getting yourself into the flow state, it means you're ready for whatever comes your way. And that's the difference between people turning down opportunities because, oh my God, I'm not ready. I need to prepare. I need to do this. I need to do that. And saying, yeah. And then getting yourself into state, putting a few minutes in, doing the left and right brain integration and showing up and doing an incredible job. So if you are interested in the buy one, get one free, where you get the free 3-day photo reading certification classes, so you can go and buy it. It's £850 or $1,100. And it has been since I first ran it 6 or 7 years ago. It has not changed. People have always said, well, it really should go up. I've left it the same. So you can purchase it. I'm not going to stop you. Please do. And if you like it for free and you want to attend the in-person workshop this autumn 2025, then you know what to do. So the link, as I said, is coming on the bottom main website, because there's not much on the booking page. It's just a few bullet points and then the kind of various booking options. But if you want further information, go to my main website. It's transformationstm.com. That's TRANCE, F for Freddie, so FORMATIONS, TM is in trademark, so transformationstm.com. You can see it on the ticker tape /photo reading. And then you've got all of the information. I put some of the testimonial videos up so you can watch people talking about it in their own words. And one of the questions I always get asked is, well, what kind of people take the photo reading class? Literally, and I've kind of mentioned it in passing here already, age 7 to 71 plus. 91 is the age, the oldest, the more mature that I know of. And I've had doctors, surgeons, lawyers, accountants, marketing specialists, mathematicians, rocket scientists. I actually have had a team of rocket scientists that I've taught photo reading to. I've had coaches, trainers, consultants, entrepreneurs, engineers, software engineers, you name it. Oh, yeah. Oh gosh, what do you call it? Builder, facilities management. Look, IT specialist, everything under the sun. There are not many. I'm sure somebody in the chat will go, "What about this?" And I go, "Yeah, not aware." We're not always getting this what people do, but it just kind of comes up in conversations. You know what I mean? So it's those are the people it's suitable for. And I'm just going to see if I got the team of rocket. Yes, I have. Let me put up what this including. Let me put up what the team of rocket scientists said. So I was running a bespoke photo reading course designed for Cranfield University. And so let me put myself in that little square down there. So these were the words that were on the feedback form. I did not expect this from a team of rocket scientists. We're on the Shrivenham MOD, Ministry of Defence site. And they said, and I quote, about the photo reading workshop: stimulating, valuable, highly recommend, professional, excellent, enlightening, fun, relaxing, motivating, time well spent. And they said it should be given to all of our first year PhD students. And these are all seasoned professionals, head of this, that, and the other. And as I said, I think it was about 12 of them there, and 3/4 of them were actual bona fide rocket scientists. And I remember when I turned up and I was like, this was like, 2005, something like that. So about 20 years ago, I'm all fresh faced and, looking about 12, and they are mature rocket scientists and all the rest of it. And I remember that kind of, if you're guessing what somebody might be thinking, I'm not a mind reader, but my take on it was they're like, who the heck does this little girl think she is, coming to teach us about how to read, how to learn, how to study, how to research more effectively? And by the end of it, they're like, oh my God. And trust me, when you're at that level, you work for the MOD, a Shrivenham, an army base, you know your stuff. They really know their stuff. And still, they were absolutely blown away. And you do not have to be academic. I've had people with dyslexia, dyspraxia, autism, even brain damage. I don't know if I've got the brain damage quote in here before we really do close. Let me just see if I've got it here. Oh, yeah, I have actually. So let me put that one up for you. So we have, thank you, Cranfield University. So this is one of my workshop attendees now. This is one of the people who said exactly the thing I talked about earlier. On the Friday, because we do a half day on a Friday, that depending on how structured, but we typically, when I was running it like that, half day Friday and all day Saturday and Sunday. And on the Friday, I said, I'm walking the same way. I'll walk you up to the station because I'm sort of heading that way. And she was with her daughter, and they both looked at me almost kind of a bit tearful. And she said, Marilyn, I wish I'd come to the photo reading workshop when you first told me about it all those years ago, because it had been about 7 years where we'd meet up. There was a friend of ours called Gina Lazenby. Some of you might know. She used to have the gatherings in her lovely house in London, just off Oxford Street. And so Kay would be there, and photo reading would come into the conversation. And sometimes she'd say, I really should come to your photo reading class. Do you think it would help me? I go, yeah, I think it would be amazing. And then we'd part ways, and another year would go by. And then we'd see each other and, we really should do the photo reading. Yeah, you know where to find me when you're ready. This went on for about 7 years. Now, Kay had been in a plane crash, a near fatal plane crash. Her partner, unfortunately, was killed in the crash, and she was close to death. And it was like a scene from a movie where a doctor comes in and does all the lung puncture stuff in the field right there. So she'd been left with some cognitive stuff going on and some brain damage. And she'd done all the tests at, I think it was Queen's Hospital in London, nothing they could do for her. Now, she was very capable and had really brilliant coping strategies. So you'd never know. Very bright, very capable, but there were things that she had to do and use as coping mechanisms. So she said, after the 2.5 day workshop, because she went to a meeting and she said, oh my God, I'm back. I just felt like myself. So she said, your photo reading course has really changed everything, Marilyn. My brain just feels rewired. A couple of weeks later, she was with a mutual friend of ours, Nick Haynes, who does the 5 elements. And she said, just in the middle of the conversation, he just looked at her and said, Kay, you're back. A couple of weeks later, she was having tea with her mum. So I think we did a photo reading mastermind group after that, where we'd meet once a month for 6 months and to go deeper and delve deeper. And she said, I'm with my mum, I'm having tea. And my mum just looked at me and she says, Kay, you're back. 2.5 days wiped out 7 or so years of brain damage. Now, I'm not making any healing claims. I'm not making any medical claims. I'm not making any financial claims that you're going to earn. But look, those who have the skills and the confidence to use the skills do tend to do better. So I'm not making any wild claims. I am just telling you what happened. So some of you might know Kay Westmoreland, the conscious accountant. That's what happened. And I've written a whole blog about it. The doctor who saved her life in the field has written a whole blog about it. And on the blog, I borrowed a picture from what he had shared. And I put a picture of the field where her light aircraft went down. And he writes about everything that happened. 2.5 days. I can't think of many things, be they courses or a lovely night out, that will give you that kind of return on investment. And the wonderful thing about photo reading, it is that incredible ripple effect. The effects of it just keep on going. And it would have been, I believe, December 2003. I was a local councillor, elected official, what you call in the United States. So we're in the town hall, and the mayor is having a function, and there are local businesses there and entrepreneurs. And I'm kind of just walking. I'm walking on if you know the building where they kind of do their full council meetings. As I'm facing it, I'm walking on the right hand side, and I hear my name. So I kind of look across, and it was one of the people who came to my very, very, very first ever photo reading workshop. And she was saying, because somebody said, how do you know this stuff? And she said, oh, it's a photo reading. So I'm always saying to my partner, because he says to her as well, how do you know this stuff? And she says to her partner, she said, it's the photo reading. It does something to your brain. She did my photo reading workshop. I'd never taught the full class before. It was my very first class. She was there. And 20 plus years later, she is still talking about the photo reading and that it does something to your brain in terms of memory, recall, facts. Seriously, that is just freaking mind-blowing. And I can see in the corner there, I just got a little glance of it. This was and we're really going to close after this. So this was from Lynette Ayres, who was the photo reading master trainer. She's retired now. Absolutely amazing human being. So Lynette traveled around the world and basically trained. So if you're in Japan, she's going to Japan. If you're in Australia, she's traveling to Australia. If you're in Watford in the UK, she's coming to Watford in the UK. And this is what she said about my classes when I first got started. She says, because every year you send your feedback, and I used to not send the really glowing feedbacks. It's like, God, they're going to think I made that up. So I would almost send like the fabulous ones, but they weren't like glowing to the stratosphere. Even with that, she said, wow, Marilyn, I think you should laminate your report and hang it on your wall. What incredible comments. And they don't surprise me one bit. You are and always have been a totally present instructor. You create such a fantastic environment and such a high energy. How can your participants not learn? So that's a wonderful Lynette Ayres, who was the photo reading master trainer for Learning Strategies Corporation, which is the company behind photo reading. It was created by Dr. Paul Sheely, as I said, back in 1985. And I did my photo reading instructor training with Paul Sheely in Minneapolis in March 2002. One of the best investments I've ever made. And to this day, 23 years later, it still keeps on giving, because the more you use it, the more you allow it, it's just exponential. So I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Now, I also was reminded, I was on a mentoring call today where I'm being mentored, and they were talking about partnering and joint JVs and all the rest of it. I was like, oh my God, I've had a partner program for like, I don't know, 15 years. I never use it. So if you would like to share the photo reading, if you have a list or even your social media followers, or you personally know someone who could benefit from this incredible skill, if you want to partner and share it and get something back yourself, then by all means, let me know. What I'll probably do is I'll maybe share the link somewhere around this video. So it'll be in the comments, perhaps, if you're watching this on Facebook, or in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe in the comments if I put it up on LinkedIn. But if you want to join the partner program, I'll put the link for that. And if you simply want to tell other people about it and share it and say, hey, check this out. And if you've done the photo reading workshop, then, thank you for walking through those virtual doors and taking that kind of first step and allowing your mind to be blown. Thank you for that. And yeah, by all means, please feel free to share it, say a few words about it as well, so give people a little flavor of what to expect. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you to those of you who have joined. And when you attend the in-person workshop, you do get the lifetime certificate, which means you can retake the in-person class whenever you like, as many times as you like, anywhere in the world. You never need to pay for it again. You just pay for the cost of being in the room. So depending on how much someone is spending on the hotel and tea and coffee and all of that good stuff, you just pay to cover the cost of being in the room, but you never pay for the workshop again. It's called your lifetime refresher certificate. So you get one of those as well. And as I said, if you're taking up the buy one, get one free deal, then you will, of course, get the online workshop that allows you to refresh and revisit this incredible course whenever you choose. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you to those who have attended over the years. And thank you for sharing and helping to spread the word about photo reading. And yeah, if you know someone personally, send them this video. That would be amazing. Marilyn Devonish, the Neuro Success Coach, Rapid Transformation Specialist, Futurist, and certified photo reading instructor since March 2002. Over and out. And I really look forward to working with you, whether it's in person or virtually in the online class. Catch you later.